Hey everyone, Corpus Delecti here again, bringing you some more of our video walkthrough for Casltevania Lords of Shadows. Now this episode, we're going to cover level 3 of Chapter 1, and the first thing we're going to get is our first life magic gem in this level, which is on this night right here when we get to the first opening. There are actually 4 of these gems in this level, however this run through we're only going to collect 3. The reason for that is because you're going to come up to a fork in the bog, which you have to go left or right, and you go left, which is actually the longest way, and the right side is actually the fastest. And in order to get both of them in one playthrough, you actually have to backtrack through the bog on the left-hand side to get back to the right-hand side. However, going through on your second run for your trial and your cleanup is actually much less time-consuming, in my opinion, to go the right way the second time through. That way you can get the final gem in this level. Now, the thing with this level is it's kind of like a tutorial of climbing and more interacting with the environment and everything like that, as well as some later on we're going to fight a boss that does a ground pound, and it's going to show you that you can jump away from the ground pound. That's the only way you can get away from it. And of course this introduces the goblins, and I love this video. I love how Gabriel just picks up his grenade and just tosses it right back. This is introducing a goblins, which is a new enemy to the game, and then shortly after this we're going to be introduced to the naiads, which are a really annoying enemy. Now they may be very annoying, however they're extremely easy to get past. I will show you right after this what happens if you fail getting past them, as well as what happens if you failing getting past them. Now what I mean by failing is because if you fail getting past them, you come up to our Halo Ring minigame, which you will be prominently using throughout this entire game. So if you fail that on the naiads, however, you will be brought into the bog and take massive damage. If you're low on health, you'll of course die from it. And right here is where we are actually introduced to these evil little creatures. Alright. The little trick here, or not really a trick, the only way really to get through this is, if you notice there's a dark path in the bog, and then there's these light, foggy looking paths. You want to stay in the dark, which of course is where the naiads are always at, and the light path is just poison, which also not makes it harder to get through, it also slows you down a little more, and we're going through this and it's going to be slow enough as it is. So on this first one I'm going to show you what happens when you get caught by these things. You'll notice there was a ripple, and right after the ripple these bubbles come up. You cannot cross their path on either one, and that right there is what happens when we fail the ring game. So this next time we're going to get through, and we're not going to fail any of it. The only problem with waiting is if there's a lot of these, you want to just get caught by them just like this, get through the mini game, and keep going. Because if there's too many, some of them will come up at different intervals, and if you stay in the bog too long, you'll start to sink in, which will result in a death as well. So right here is the fork I was telling you about. Now in this fork, we're going to go to the left this way because 1, there's a health font here, and 2, it's the longer route, which we want to get taken care of the first time. So the cleanup does not take as long. I think the cleanup video for this is maybe 5 minutes, and this one's actually broken into 2 parts. That's how long this way takes. While we're waiting here, I'm going to explain what's going on. The right side, what we'll do, you'll see in the next video. I just want to let people know so that you're ahead of the game. When you go the right way, you're going to climb up the steps, and then you're going to go follow the path and everything, and you're going to come to 2 drops. Well, you're going to come to a couple drops, but the first drop you drop down, and then the second drop you come to. Once you drop down, we're going to backtrack in, and there's going to be a cave right behind us. Once we go into this cave is where you'll find the third and final life gem, because it'll be in our cleanup run. The third gem we're going to be getting in this is at the very end of the level, but I'll get more into that when we get there. So after these goblins, We're going to continue through the bog, and we're going to break off. The bog's going to keep going in the direction we're already going. We're going to break off towards the right side to get our next gem. Another handy little trick I figured with the bog as well is if you run towards the edge and jump just before you reach the bog, you can get a little further in. It makes your timing getting through it a little shorter. It of course becomes much easier when you have double jump, because then you can just jump over everything. Now this is the spot where we're going to break off to the right side. And this is where we're going to get our next life magic gem at. You can also see when you wait for the naiads to subside, you have safe passage. And just for those of you wondering, this level is my least favorite level out of this entire game. I think it's horrible. And just so you know, this is not the only time we're going to have to go through a bog type area to get through a level. And on this little platform right here is where we get our second life magic gem. And now we're just going to continue down the path into the bog. Alright, now after this goblin camp we come to right here, we're going to drop down into another goblin camp. And here we're going to end up using the goblin grenades to knock down a tree, which is how we're going to use, it's going to teach you a tutorial on how to pick up their grenades and use it against your environment, which you can also in turn use against the goblins themselves. However, this is also where part 1 of level 3 is going to end. So I'm going to let the video finish up, you guys can see what I'm talking about, and then I'll see you guys in part 2 and I'll help you get through that. Walk you through some tips I tried out with the boss that's coming up, and then we'll get you the last gem for the level. And also your first dagger upgrade is also in this level, which is right after the boss fight. So I'll see you guys in part 2 for level 3. Hope you guys enjoy, and I hope this has been helpful to you. Take care.